On the 9th of August this year, Manchester was unfortunately added to the long list of cities involved in the riots that shook the country. Joining cities such as Birmingham, Leicester, Liverpool and Bristol, Manchester became a target for violence, criminal damage, looting and mass mayhem.
Another night and another city consumed by rioting. This was a Miss Selfridge store ablaze in Manchester's city centre. It appeared to be started by a teenager moments earlier, who calmly walked away.
With opinions and points of view being expressed from both sides of the chaos, one Manchester youth tried to justify people's actions earlier that day.
Let's have a riot!
And you will find people on these streets encouraging a return to chaos.
Gotta do it.
Why have you got to do it?
Why? Because he's letting all the Polish, all the everyone in our country, letting everyone do our jobs, and we can't get jobs, so there you go.
But you're not going to get jobs if they're burning down shops here, they're smashing windows. Well, that's not going to make people invest in Salford.
That's up to them, innit?
This is not the first time Manchester has been involved in fierce rioting. Almost 30 years to the day, Moss Side, an area south of the city centre, was targeted by more than 1,000 local youths, protesting about issues such as unemployment and policing in the area. In a clip broadcast by ITN News on the day of the 1981 riots, the reporter describes the events of the chaos.
As streets and shops were burned and looted, the Chief Constable said this isn't crime, it's guerrilla war, simply lunacy. A child of 8 was seen throwing a petrol bomb. But this was no kiddies' riot. Police say they have clear evidence that outsiders, black and white, were directing the incidents, using CB radio to coordinate the mobs and handing out petrol bombs from their cars as they swept across the city. We saw older men dressed in dark tracksuits and running shoes. One told us, "Clear out, trouble is coming." A bus was stoned as its driver sped away from the howling mob, his passengers cowering in their seats, and cars were set on fire.
In a press conference, the then Chief Constable of Manchester Police tried to make sense of the situation, describing it as nothing more than anarchy.
I personally cannot believe that it is within the intelligence and capacity of even many of the older group of the young people involved to plan and organise an operation of this scale. I think there must be other people involved intent upon causing disruption and anarchy within the inner city areas of Manchester and elsewhere. Today I can only say that what happened last night was close to anarchy. I'm deeply saddened by what has occurred, which serves no purpose and solves no problems.
So were this summer's riots a protest to make voices heard, or an act of copycat violence?
I believe this was a copycat violence. As a minority of people who felt that it was their opportunity to cause mayhem.
How far do you agree that the riots were caused and fuelled by local youths?
It was an opportunity for mindless thugs to get at the police with a catch-me-if-you-can attitude.
Manchester-based freelance journalist Jake Wilkinson giving us his opinion. I was able to spend some time in Salford's longest-running iconic youth clubs, the Salford Lads Club, made famous by the singer Morrissey and the Smiths, to get an insight into Manchester's youth of today.
My name's Arthur Edward Swift. I'm known as Archie.
How far do you agree that the Salford riots were caused and fuelled by local youths?
Oh yeah, I don't dispute that. They just, one gang or another, rang each other up and they just all went in as a unit. And I think the police will be realising that now.
You slightly covered on it there.
Yeah.
How do you feel the police dealt with the riots in Salford?
I think it was the same all over the country. They were taken by surprise. They did their best.
Chris Collins, manager of the Shakeaway store in Manchester's Arndale Centre, one of the areas to be targeted by the rioters, describes what it was like to be caught in the middle of the chaos.
It was quite tense in town. There was a bit of an air of uncertainty about everything. Nobody really knew what was going on or if anything was going to happen. It was quite tense.
What was the atmosphere in the actual Arndale Centre like, sort of like, you know, throughout the day?
It was, in the morning, it was pretty normal, and then as the day progressed and people, it's like, you know, the police presence increased, it got a lot quieter. People from other shops were coming out, and, you know, nobody really knew what was going on. And yeah, it was just very tense. Nobody really knew what was going to happen.
Was there a police presence from quite early on?
I think from when we got here, there was police just out here on Market Street. Every now and again, there'd be a couple walk through, sort of patrolling the areas. And I know that through the day it built up down at Piccadilly.
How well do you feel the police dealt with the situation? And do you think anything positive has come out of this?
The police reacted extremely swiftly to defuse what could have been a horrendous night of wanton vandalism and destruction. What do I think is a positive? Certainly in Manchester, it underlines the fact that the police are in control and that their quick response and the sentences that was handed out to those who were caught will make the youths think again next time.
Jake Wilkinson conveying his opinion on police efforts and the sentences that have since been imposed. As mentioned in the clips from the Moss Side Riots in 1981, handheld radios were used to connect and inform those involved. How much of a part did modern technology play in the riots of 2011?
All the villains were on the phone, and it was a great thing to cause trouble, get onto each other and find out where the police might be weak.
Archie Swift of Salford Lads Club, Jake Wilkinson goes on.
With the technology today that all youths have, it allowed the use of Facebook and Twitter to create a massive network very quickly.
So they appeared on scene in groups ready to cause chaos as opposed to arriving as individuals?
Yes, very much so.
To what extent, in your personal opinion, do you think that the parents were to blame for what happened? Obviously it was mentioned on the news.
Yeah.
Do you have an opinion on that?
I don't think the parents to blame. Obviously, you know, they could have helped it, or, you know, if they had known the kids were out, you know, they could have made them come back, you know, a bit more disciplined, but I don't think they could have stopped it happening completely.
Chris Collins in Manchester's Arndale Centre. Archie Swift disagrees.
The parents, I think, are as much to blame as the youths. Yeah, definitely. Because they know they're using the mobile phones. They know what's coming in the house and what isn't. So, you know, and a lot of it, you know, they're in trouble and they see it at home, you know. So, that's an hard one to answer, really, because a lot of the parents would be quite good people, but there's a lot of them wouldn't be, and maybe got a bit of porridge themselves.
With all the news coverage the 2011 UK summer riots received, is it fair to brand the youth of today in such a negative light? Jake Wilkinson and Archie Swift disagree.
We only hear about those youths that commit offences. There are many youths who do a lot within the community, raising money for charity, etc., that really go unheard of. This was particularly shown after the riots, where in the clean-up operation, where many youths were involved in. The media should be broadcasting the positives and not the negatives all the time.
I've never had a negative view on youth after being in here. You've only got to watch some of the things that's on the telly. There's hundreds and hundreds of them singing together, doing things together. I don't think if you've got a negative view, all I can say is just take your blindfold off, because they're great. The kids are great. They were great in 1900 and they're great now.
What a beautiful day.